Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we will be touring Levi Stadium, showing you some places you may not typically see, including the locker rooms, the press boxes, and the field level. Levi Stadium is home of the San Francisco 49ers. However, the 49ers Stadium is no longer located in San Francisco. It's located over 40 miles away in Santa Clara, California, making it the farthest stadium from the city it's named after out of any NFL stadium. Every photo you see today was taken by me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want me to keep doing videos. You can write in the comment section what you like about this stadium. And with that, we can start the tour. Levi Stadium opened back in 2014 and has a capacity of 68,500. This stadium captures the essence of Silicon Valley. You have the massive amount of suites and clubs on one side that's very corporate in the elites of Silicon Valley, and then you have the masses on the opposite side of the stadium. On the north, east, and south side of the stadium, you have 3 tiers of seating that are pretty basic. And you can see from this photo that the upper deck of those areas is extremely high. It's so high up that it almost makes it not worth going to the game. And you can see from this photo that, in the general seating where most people are, that they have to stare into the sun in the heat, where then you have the press and luxury suites and all that on the other side, and they get to be in the air conditioner, and it's in the shade as well. This takes us to the west side of the stadium where you have the lower bowl of seating, and then on top of that you just have a wall of luxury suites and club seating and all sorts of stuff, and it's very corporate, and it just, like I said before, it captures the essence of Silicon Valley. This photo is just showing you another view of that area, and you can look and you can count all the different levels they have in this area. This is a view outside the stadium looking back at the west side of the stadium where all the press and luxury box suites are. One cool thing about that area though is on top of the structure they actually have a green roof where they have a garden. They grow a lot of different produce there, which you can see in this photo. The other stadium that has something similar to this is Fenway Park. And you can see from this photo that they actually have seating on top that you can watch the game from on top of the roof. This takes us up to the press level, so it's not where they're watching or calling the game, but this is where they can go before or after the game. This is a view inside the press box where the media is during the games. This is a view from the press box looking out over the field, just kind of showing you what the media gets to see during a game. Moving down below the press box, we move down into some of the club areas, and this is the first one you'll see when I was there. It's called the Yahoo Sports Zone. You can see from this photo that it's inside, away from the elements. It's very nice, and it's a great place to hang out during a game. The mid-level of seating above the first level in this photo you can see here, it'll give you access to that sports zone. From here, we're going to drop down to the lower level, which is the United Club. This is a view inside the United Club, and like most NFL stadiums, these clubs are very nice, very luxurious. They tend to be better than the MLB ballparks. You can see from this photo that it has a full bar. This is another view of the United Club. It's just a great place to hang out. It's very well lit up, and if you ever have the opportunity to come over here, I would definitely recommend it during a game. This is a view from the United Club looking out towards the field. You're only one level above the field, and it's depending upon where you are, you can be 50-yard line, and it's just a great place to be for a game. If we drop down another level, we'll be all the way down to the field level, and this is where our last club will be. This is a view inside that club looking out towards the field, and you can see the field's right there, and you can walk right out to the field. This club level is also very nice, very luxurious, completely different look from the United Club. I kind of like the United Club's look better, but everybody has their preference. This club has a lot darker feel to it. The United Club was well lit up. This one has a lot of photos of the historic 49ers. They got the Niners colors, and just a lot of cool things to see if you walk around this club though. This stadium is home of the 49ers, so it's home of the faithful. It just doesn't have the same feel as Candlestick did though. It has much more corporate feel to it. It can get loud. It can really fill up during certain games. You have the Seahawks coming in and stuff like that, but I don't know. There's something to this stadium that just has a really NFL corporate feel to it. If you haven't been to this part of California, down on the South Bay near San Jose, where Santa Clara, California is, this stadium is right in the flight path of San Jose Airport. So when planes are taking off, they actually fly over this stadium and you can see it. So they really can't build up any higher. They can't really do any modifications to this stadium, and they have some restrictions in place. Another thing to note about the location of this stadium is it's right next to the amusement park called California's Great America, and just to the west of Levi Stadium, they have this very large parking lot. Levi Stadium used to host the Pac-12 championship when it started out, before it moved to Las Vegas. You can tell from this view, though, that even though this was Stanford USC, that still there wasn't a huge turnout for this game. You have Stanford in the Bay Area, this game's in the Bay Area, and they still have to tarp off the upper deck. Really doesn't matter anymore because everything going on with the Pac-12, it's no longer a conference. There's no really more teams, but it was, there was a reason why the Pac-12 left this and went to Vegas. Levi Stadium also hosted the College Football National Championship back in 2019. Shortly after the stadium opened up, it hosted Super Bowl 50, and it will be hosting the Super Bowl again in 2026. I talked early on in the video about how this stadium has a lot of suites and club level on one side of the stadium, and then you kind of have a standard layout on the other three sides. And one thing to note, actually Ford Field in Detroit has a similar layout. The difference there, it's an enclosed indoor stadium, but the seating layout and the suites and all that actually is pretty similar to Ford's Field. The 49ers used to play up at Candlestick Park in San Francisco, and as you know, San Francisco is a cold, windy city, so a lot of times you go there, you sit there and freeze. They moved down to the South Bay near San Jose, and if you don't know, it actually gets a lot hotter down there. It's not like Arizona, but it actually does get pretty hot, and especially during the earlier games in the season. So not only are the fans on the the east side of the stadium, they're staring into the sun, but it's also extremely hot compared to what they're used to. It's been a while, so people may forget, but when this stadium first opened up, there was a ton of issues with the grass. You can see how bad it looks here. I went in 2015, obviously off season, so this isn't game ready. But they have natural grass there, which is great, but it just seemed like the first few games, the first year or so, that they had to keep replacing the field. I think they've got it a little bit under control now, but I just remember it being such a problem when it opened. The stadium has large video boards on each end zone. This is a view of the south end zone. This is a view of the video board looking towards the north end zone. They're not insanely huge, but it's nice to have a larger video board on each end. I've touched on other videos, but stadiums are either concrete, steel, or a mix of both. This stadium is a steel structure, and I think it just has a really good, clean look whenever you go steel. During a night game, they really light the stadium up, and this is a view outside the stadium, and I gotta say, it looks absolutely gorgeous. I think of Snapdragon Stadium in San Diego. That's another stadium that looks really nice when it's lit up. So far, I've touched on some of the negative aspects of the seating for this stadium. It's not all bad, though. I will say this, 2/3 of the seating is in the lower level. It's one of the largest lower levels in all of the NFL, so that part is a plus. You don't have everybody up on the high, so when you are up really high, you're extremely high, but luckily not that many seats are up high. This is a view of the tunnels where the players, the facility people are. Pretty typical for NFL. This is where the players come out of the tunnel onto the field. I always think it's cool to check this out. This is the visiting team's locker room. Pretty standard. Unfortunately, I was not able to see the 49ers locker room. It's really hit or miss on NFL stadiums if they let you see that or not. Just east of the stadium, they have the practice fields. This is a view looking from the stadium out at those practice fields, and you can see San Jose in the background. This is one of the main entrances into Levi Stadium. This is in the northwest corner of the stadium. Another event to mention that Levi Stadium will host is in 2026. It will be hosting a few games for the FIFA World Cup. If you're able to get down to Levi Stadium when there's not a game going on, I would recommend checking the museum out. They have a museum there. It's very informative. There's a ton of cool things. It's very interactive for the 49ers, even if you're not a 49ers fan. Every video I like to throw in a photo of myself at the stadium. This just shows that I was actually there. This brings us towards the end of the tour. You can write in the comment section what stadium you want me to do next. subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate that. And until next time, take care.